glad that you are here today. In fact, hey, would you mind commenting or asking your parents to comment and tell me that you're watching? I really want to be able to say hi to you later. Can you do that for me? Awesome. Also, I was hoping that maybe you could grab some Play-Doh if you have it at home. If you don't, that's okay. You can do an activity with me later or just watch along. But we're gonna do something with Play-Doh later, so go grab it now if you haven't already. All right, now, last week I asked you a question at the end of our kids show. The question was, what is wisdom? Wisdom, that's such a weird word, don't you think? Not only that, but what is it anyway? I mean, it's kind of an interesting concept. It doesn't mean being smarter. Does it mean that I'm a super genius? Like, what's wisdom? You know, I heard from my friend Connor this week, and he has an idea of what wisdom is. Let's hear from him.
Connor, what is wisdom?
It's knowing what the right thing to do is.
Thanks, Connor. I so appreciate you sharing. You know, I think you have some good insights. Wisdom, knowing how to make the right choices. Have you ever thought about how many choices we have to make every single day? I don't know about you, but for me, when I get up in the morning, I have to choose whether or not I get out of bed or if I stay in and sleep more. Then there's choices like what to have for breakfast. Should I have cereal or should I have chocolate? Should I brush my teeth? What about my shoes? Should I wear shoes or should I wear spaghetti on my feet? These are hard choices. Now, one that I've been pondering for a little bit is this. Should I sing to the person in front of me in line at the grocery store? These are hard choices. I don't know. Okay, you got me. Maybe they're not so hard. These ones are kind of simple choices, but there are some hard choices that we have to make in life. Like, what do I do if my friends and I don't get along? Or should I obey my parents even when they're asking me to do something that sounds really strange or really hard? Or what do I do when the math problem is just too difficult for me? What do I do? Now, wisdom doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're smarter at math. That's not wisdom at all. But it's knowing how to handle situations that are too hard for you. But my question is, how do I get wisdom anyway? Like, I can't just learn more and all of a sudden be wise. It's not how wisdom works. You know, I'm going to introduce you to a friend today, a friend straight from the Bible, and he kind of had some same problems. He had a lot of really hard choices that he had to make because he was the leader of the nation of Israel. Now, no, it wasn't David. We've already talked about David and the things he did. This is David's son. He had some hard choices. Let's check out today's story to see what he did about his hard choices.
David was the king of Israel for many years. His son Solomon was going to be king after him. Before King David died, he gave Solomon some instructions. Be strong and brave, Solomon, David said. Obey God and you will be successful. God will keep his promise that every king of Israel will come from our family. When David died, Solomon became the king of Israel.
One night, God appeared to Solomon in a dream. God said, Solomon, ask for anything you want, and I will give it to you. Anything? A king might have asked to live a long life or to have lots of riches. Solomon could have asked God to give him victory over all his enemies. But Solomon did not ask to be rich or to have a long life. Solomon wanted to be a good king. He asked for something even better.
Solomon prayed, God, I am young, and I do not know very much about being a king. Please make me wise and obedient to you. Help me know the difference between right and wrong. Help me lead your people well. God was happy with Solomon's request. God said, I will give you wisdom. In fact, I will make you more wise and understanding than anyone who has ever lived. No one in the future will ever be as wise as Solomon.
God also said, because you asked for wisdom, I will also give you what you did not ask for, long life, riches, and honor. You will be greater than any other king during your lifetime." Then Solomon woke up. He praised God and offered sacrifices to worship him.
Solomon was a king who wanted to do God's plan. Solomon wasn't perfect, but God had a plan to give his people a greater and wiser king, his son, Jesus. Jesus completely trusted God. Jesus surrendered his own life to die on the cross for our sin.
So what did Solomon do about his hard choices? Right, he asked God for wisdom. God gave it to him. Isn't that amazing? God asked Solomon to ask for anything he wanted, and Solomon asked for wisdom. And God gave him wisdom, but not only that, he gave him the riches and the honor and the strength that Solomon also needed in order to be a good king. Now, being a leader of a nation is really hard, but I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe I could be a leader of you guys, and I could lead you in how to make something out of Play-Doh. So do you guys have your Play-Doh? Cool. All right, so the first thing that you're gonna need to do is open your Play-Doh. I know, super complicated, right? You just kind of like take the lid off like that. All right, and then you're gonna need to get your Play-Doh out. Get your Play-Doh out. Guys, this is complicated. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna squish the container a little bit and then see if I can get the Play-Doh out. It's still not working. Is it gonna come ever? Oh my word. You guys, it's really hard to lead in how to do something. I finally did it. Did you guys get your Play-Doh out? I hope so. Okay, the next thing you're gonna do is squish your Play-Doh. Okay, now that's easy, right? All right, now, wait, what was I gonna have you guys do? Oh, that's right. I want you to split your Play-Doh into 2 pieces, okay? And then you're going to split those 2 pieces into 2 pieces. And then you should have 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, you guys got it. You must be super smart. Okay, now I'm going to flatten these pieces of Play-Doh because we're gonna make a mansion, a wisdom mansion, don't you think? That's what wisdom's all about, right? Okay, so squish it and then kind of make it like a wall. And then do that with another piece of Play-Doh. Squish it down, make it flat, kind of flatten the edges a little bit. And then, oh look, there's 2 walls. How's it going in there? Are you doing okay? All right, and then you're gonna squish another piece of Play-Doh. Wow, okay. And then you're gonna kind of squish the corners together to make 3 walls. Are you doing okay? You got those 3 walls going? I hope so. Okay. Then with that final piece, I want you to squish it. And you are going to make a roof for your 3 walls. And hopefully it won't fall. All right. Did you do okay? I don't know. Does that look very much like a mansion? I don't know if I'm very good at making choices for how to lead people and making things out of Play-Doh. Man, I can't even imagine the pressure that Solomon felt. He had to lead a whole nation to follow God. All I had to do was lead you to make a house or a mansion. I think it's more like a shack out of Play-Doh. But you know what? This is okay. I might not be very smart about Play-Doh. I might not be able to make the right choices to lead people all the time. But you know what? God has a promise in his word that I want to read to you today. It's right here, straight from the Bible in the book of James. And we're going to read out of chapter 1, verse 5. It says this: "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." Oh my word. Did you hear what that said? Did you hear what God said? If you ask him for wisdom, he promises he's going to give it to you. So all of those hard choices that we were talking about earlier, God has all of the wisdom that you need to know how to make those right choices. All you have to do is ask, and he'll give it to you generously. So my question for you today is this. If you could ask God for anything in the world, what would you ask for? Just like Solomon, remember God came to him in a dream and said, Solomon, if you could have anything, what are you going to ask for? I pose that same question to you. Talk about it with your family this week. Think about what do you want from God? What are those things? Now, God might not give you exactly what you want, but you can remember his promise that if you ask him for wisdom, he promises to give it. Hey, I have a wise choice that you can make. Well, a couple wise choices actually. First of all, wise choice number 1, join me for church after this. We are going to worship together and we are going to hear a message from Pastor Phil. And I believe God has something he wants to speak to you from the message. So be a wise listener and pay attention to what God is saying. My other wise choice is to come back next week because our kids' shows are running out. And so I don't want you to miss out on any of the fun. Be sure you come back so you don't miss it. And then I want to say a huge thank you to Abigail and Serenity and Eliana. Thank you for coming today and joining me. Thanks to Anika and Isaiah, Kalia, and Keandra. I am glad you were with me today. Of course, Rune, it's good to see you. And Daniel and Johanna and Matthew, I'm so glad you're here. And a big hi to Sean, Jaden, and Ochanehi. I am glad you guys stopped in. And of course, Danielle, Pelumi, and David, thanks for coming. I sure miss you guys. And the Torontos, thanks for joining Living Faith Kids today. I hope you come back next week. But for now, remember, God loves you, and he has a big plan for your life.